In accordance with Haskell's Code of Safe Practices, any excavation deeper than 4 feet should either be sloped, benched, or shored. The following presentation represents safe practices for sloping excavations greater than 4 feet in depth. To ensure safety, an excavation inspection must be performed by a competent person at the start of each workday or following any major weather event. A competent person is someone who, through training or experience, is knowledgeable concerning OSHA Code of Safe Practice for a worksite. This person is given authority and responsibility to correct hazards to protect workers. Trenching work by nature involves moving large amounts of soil. These large amounts of soil can in themselves be dangerous. A cubic yard of soil can weigh more than 3,000 pounds. Many excavators can easily lift more than a cubic yard of soil in a single bucketful. Therefore, caution should always be used when moving large amounts of soil. Inside an excavation, many potential dangers exist. In trenches with slides that are too steep for the soil type, there is also a danger of cave-in or collapse. Being buried up to the waist can also be fatal because it can cause crushing injuries that prevent breathing. Even collapses that are knee-deep can cause fatal injuries or medical complications such as septic shock. In each of these situations, rescue is often delayed by the unsafe conditions which led to the collapse. Poor air quality is another danger of working in excavations. In some areas, the ground will naturally emit dangerous gases which can gather at the bottom of a trench. Since different gases weigh differently, they may gather at certain depths within an excavation. Many dangerous gases are invisible and odorless. If exposed, many gases will cause unconsciousness and can eventually lead to death. If a person becomes unconscious while in an excavation, it can be difficult for rescuers to reach the person without exposing themselves to the danger. Never enter an excavation of unknown air quality. Since conditions will change over time, regular testing is essential. Being able to get in and out of an excavation quickly is essential to maintain safety. At any time, workers should not be farther than 25 feet from an exit from the excavation. In the event of an accident, being able to exit an excavation quickly can be critical to safety. Ladders should extend 3 feet above the top edge of an excavation. Any trench deeper than 4 feet must be sloped or shored. The proper slope of a trench's walls depend on soil type and depth of the excavation. There are many types of soil, and each will fit into a category based on its stability. A-type soils are the most stable and require the least amount of sloping. The ratio of rise over run for type A soils is 3/4 to 1. B-type soils are less stable and require shallower slopes. The ratio of rise over run for type B soils is 1 to 1. C-type soils are the least stable and most prone to collapse. The ratio of rise over run for type C soils is 1.5 to 1. Unless an excavation site has been certified by an engineer, it is safest to assume that all soil is type C. The slope of a trench wall can be difficult to measure. However, there is a simple formula which can be used to determine if a trench is safe, even in the weakest or type C soils. The first measurement that is needed is the width of the bottom of the trench. The second measure that is needed is the depth of the trench. The last measure is the width of the trench at the top of the trench. If 3 times the depth plus the width of the bottom is less than the width of the top, the trench is properly sloped. In some situations, proper sloping is not possible. This may be due to obstacles such as roads or power lines. In these situations, a trench box may be used. A trench box is a metal enclosure that reinforces the walls of a trench. When placed in an excavation, a trench box must have equal support on each side to prevent tipping. When using a trench box, it is necessary to leave 18 inches above the top of the excavation. These measures are to help ensure that items on the ground do not fall into the trench box. Soil not supported by the trench box has the potential to cave in. Inside the trench box, the excavation cannot extend more than 2 feet below the bottom edge of the trench box. Workers should never leave the confines of a trench box while in the excavation. No worker can be in a trench box that has a suspended load hanging over it. In this situation, all workers must either exit the excavation or move to an adjacent trench box.